Welcome to the Minister's Tape Club for September. This is Neil B. Wiseman, and I have been praying that God would especially use your ministry. Lately, my own service to Christ has been shaped by a sobering insight from Samuel Logan Brengle. He said, "The final estimate of men shows that history cares not one iota for the rank or title a man has borne or the office he has held, but only the quality of his deeds and the character of his mind and heart." Join me now as I welcome General Superintendent Eugene Stowe for a State of the Church message. Dr. Stowe?
In my first message for the Minister's Tape Club 6 months ago, I discussed the matter of church growth with you. Mention was made of the dedication of several new Nazarene church buildings and the contribution they are already making to body life and growth. Since that time, I participated in the dedication of 4 more beautiful new Nazarene church sanctuaries. One was a very nostalgic occasion. It took place in the city where I spent my earlier years as a non-Nazarene teenager. What a joy it was to see this church readying itself to house the harvest of souls which it is planning to reap through holiness evangelism in the years ahead. Another of these churches was very young. In its short history, it had experienced minimum growth. Among the ecclesiastical childhood diseases which it had had to overcome was the one which has plagued all too many of our churches, locationitis. It had started in a storefront building. When the congregation relocated, it settled for a small lot and building on a very busy thoroughfare. With no room for facility expansion or off-street parking, the church found itself locked into zero growth. Have you heard that story before? Several years ago, the people took a great step of faith and purchased a 5-acre site on the growing edge of their community. They built the first unit of a new plant. God honored this sacrificial commitment. They began to break out. New people have been reached, including several outstanding professional men and their families. This growth necessitated the building of a temporary sanctuary, which we dedicated. Already on the mental drawing board of the leadership of this church is the large permanent sanctuary, which they anticipate needing in the next 5 years. This is a classic example of church growth. But there is another dimension which needs to be added to this picture. It came into focus as I was sitting with the pastor in his study before the morning service. He's a very well-trained young minister with 3 earned degrees, including the Doctor of Ministry. He was reviewing the order of service, which included the reception of new members. A knock came at the door, and the pastor introduced me to a lady who had recently been converted. She had come to ask if she could be received into membership that morning. She even indicated that her son, for whom she was earnestly praying, had come to see her join the church. I'm sure it was a real temptation for the pastor to accede to her request. What pastor can't use every new member he can get? But instead, he began to explain very diplomatically that since she had not been able to attend the membership class, it would probably be best for her to wait until she knew more about what the church believed and stood for. He told her that he would be receiving another class in a few weeks and would be very happy to enroll her in his membership training class. She was visibly disappointed and argued the point, but he courteously stood his ground. In a few minutes, we were involved in the worship service. I couldn't help but watch the expression on this woman's face when the new members were being received. There was disappointment, of course, but she gave very careful attention as the ritual for new members was being read and the doctrine and ethical standards of the church were being noted. At the close of the service, I was standing by the pastor when she spoke to him. "You were right," she said. "I wasn't ready to join the church this morning. I'll be in the membership class next week, And when I do join the church, I'll really be ready. This incident speaks volumes about the kind of growth we want. Certainly, we want to reach the maximum number of people possible. Of course, we need every new member we can legitimately gain. But a strong church cannot be built out of inferior material. No building committee would think of constructing a church edifice out of poor quality lumber or steel or concrete. That would be false economy. And no pastor should be party to building the church membership with people who do not qualify. It should be clearly understood that the initial requirement for membership is still the same as it was in the early church, those who were saved. Then every convert, young or older, should be enrolled in a membership class. No pastor should be too busy to meet with his prospective children and youth members in several sessions of membership training. They deserve to know what the church believes and why. New adult Christians should be given discipling instruction relating to the doctrines and ethical positions of the church. Special attention should be given to the experience of entire sanctification and the life of holiness. One pastor reports that new converts are regularly sanctified in these discipling classes as they come to a real understanding of this biblical truth. And this is the best possible forum for discussing the general and special rules of the church. Questions can be asked and answered in this setting without any embarrassment at all. Some will catch on immediately and conform. Others may need a little time. God has plenty of time, and we should. Slow learners should be given lots of tender, loving care and patiently nurtured until they're ready for membership. Certainly they should never be made to feel like second-class citizens until they unite with the church. Rather, they should be given assurance that they are valued friends and have a right to enjoy the fellowship and services of the church during this time of preparation. Some may never fully understand or accept our membership standards and join the church. To compromise our manual position is both unethical and unwise. But there is no reason why they may not continue to attend and support. Hundreds do. And under these circumstances, where they really are not ready to accept our position, they and we are better off leaving them in this way than to take them into membership and sooner or later find that they are either a congregational embarrassment or a statistical casualty, or both. Pastor, whatever else you leave to your successor, be sure to leave him a well-kept membership roll which will reflect the care with which you receive new members. Among other things, this will avert the necessity of his pruning a large amount of dead wood from the roll. Nothing reflects more negatively on the quality of the work of a former pastor. Church growth, of course we want it, but not at any cost. Let's be just as careful of the membership materials with which we build the church as we are of the quality of building materials with which we construct our church facilities. Then the enduring quality of both will be a lasting tribute to your professional excellence.
Thank you for listening to the Holiness Today podcast. If you enjoyed this production and wish to hear more, visit holinesstoday.org/podcast or find us on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts.